Since 1983.
83.
Yes.
Okay. Was it in this building when you came here?
Yes.
Yes. And I want to tell a little story about
Okay.
when we first came, we visited another church. We're both from the Episcopal Church, Faith. And we had 2 kids with us at the time. We have 4, but the 2 youngest were with us. And we're going to another church. And the second Sunday at the other church, and I won't call names, our 2 kids in the back said, "We're not coming back anymore." I said, "Well, that's not a nice way to talk to your parents, but we'll listen." And it was just too disruptive in the church for them. They were used to a more organized affair, you might say.
A formal service.
A formal service.
Mm-hmm.
And it was disturbing to
Yeah.
them. And I thought, okay, I need to look for another place. So the next Saturday, I looked in the telephone book and found Holy Comforter, looked on the map and found where it is, and came over to scope it out. The only person here at the time was our sexton, and nobody else, and I got out and introduced him. His name was Bill Jones, and we started talking, and he started telling me about church and everything, and said, and we do have a scout program. Well, his youngest boy was in scouts, and we were looking for a place for him. And I said, "Oh, that's interesting." And then he said, "Oh, by the way, we're having a covered dish supper for newcomers tonight. Why don't you come?" Well, I don't know if we're newcomers or not. But anyway, I went home and told Joan, I said, "Guess what we're doing tonight? We go into a newcomer's dinner at Holy Comforter Episcopal Church." And she looked at me like, "Are you nuts?" And, so anyway, the 4 of us came, and I got up and introduced ourselves to, who was the pastor?
Nick Dyke.
Nick Dyke was our priest. And I said, "We are really, truly newcomers because we've never been in this church before. This is the first time." But I said, "But we will be back." And we have been coming back now for, 32 years?
Yeah.
32 years.
32 years.
Wow.
Yes.
So you've seen lots of changes here.
A good many. Because when we came, they still had the little church building on where the retention pond is now. And they were using that for Sunday school rooms. So when they finally finished the finishing touches, I guess, on the educational building, that's when they decided to move that. They sold the building and moved it to another location. And then I guess the PDAP had their building there, and the Boy Scouts had refurbished their building. So things were moving right along.
And I guess the old building that Joan's making a reference to, they moved it over into the Cypress area, and it was converted into a restaurant.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wonderful. So this has been your home for 32 years. What are some of the things you've done to serve since you've been here?
Oh my goodness.
Nothing, I've just come.
Okay, that works. Since that's all you signed up for.
Well, I'm trying to think back. I guess in the early days, when our son Edward was in the Boy Scout troop, I discovered very early on that they were not. We came to the first court of honor that they had, and I was flabbergasted, really, that no other parents were present. And I said, "What a shame. All these boys have been working so hard for these awards, and there's nobody here to cheer them on." Because we had come from another troop for our older son that had just massive court of honor dinners. So I went to the scoutmaster and I said, "Would you be interested in having a dinner associated with your court of honor presentation?" I said, "I think this way we can get more parents involved and this will inspire the boys to be more productive too. And he said, I don't think you're going to get anybody. I said, well, let me try it one time, and if it flops, it flops. So I called all the mothers, and I said, I'm trying to get the Boy Scout dinner organized so that we can have a nice Court of Honor dinner every quarter. And most of them were very interested, receptive to the idea. And I said, we're going to keep it simple. I said, just bring enough fried chicken for your family. I said, it doesn't have to be homemade. You can stop by Kentucky Fried. And one other dish, to put on the table to serve. Well, we had, I don't know how, we didn't have 100%.
It wasn't 100,
but we had, I would say, probably at least 80% of the parents show up. Well, the Scoutmaster was just floored. He really had no idea. And I said, the younger kids the younger brothers and sisters are invited too. I mean, because that way you don't have to hire a babysitter.
Right.
And it gets them interested in the scouting program too. So from then on, we had the Boy Scout dinners. And they're still doing them, I think.
Yeah,
so far as I know. So that's one thing. I'm trying to think. What else?
Well, you're a daughter of a king. I see your cross.
Right. I got involved in that when they were reorganizing the chapter. They had a Daughters of the King chapter here years before, but I was not a part of it. And then I guess it just kind of fell out of existence. And so several of the ladies were instrumental in trying to get it reorganized. And in 1999, that's when the chapter was reinstituted, or whatever the term is. And Peggy Rost was our first president that year. And so we've been going ever since.
Okay. And you said you just come. Well, I bet you do more than just come.
I also do a lot of crying anymore.
Okay, that works. That helps.
Yeah, my eyes just keep watering, tearing. I've been, from the very beginning. I guess I joined the usher team, and back then we had yard teams that would take care of the yard, cutting of the grass, and
we could still use the yard team.
Still use them, but I retired from that several years ago. So I was involved in that, and a big activity in those days was the men's club. We had a pretty good organization. Quite a few men were in the club, and our probably biggest activity during the year was having the bingo concession at Old Town Springs during the crawfish festival. Okay. And we had that session for quite a few years. But I guess we started losing members, and it started going downhill until it no longer existed. And I didn't join the Brotherhood. I'm a member of the Brotherhood now, Brotherhood of St. Andrews. Didn't join to begin with because it was conflicting with the cutting of the grass.
Wouldn't want to mess that up.
We were both scheduled at 8 o'clock on Saturday mornings. But that finally changed, and I joined. I've been a member there ever since. I guess early on, as in other parishes that I was at, I was involved in the Ever Member Canvas. Okay. And I did that for quite a few years. And,
you did that for a long time.
Long time, is right. But now I've retired from that also.
Okay, So, what makes Holy Comforter special? You've been here a long time. What makes you stay? What keeps you coming back Sunday after Sunday?
People,
Oh,
family.
definitely the people. And we really don't have a lot of family, except for our children in Texas. We really don't have a lot of family anyway, and so this is our family. That's kind of the way we look at it anyway.
Well,
Yeah. And I have to admit that we went through some trying times here at Holy Comfort also, and we looked at other parishes, and I guess we looked at about everyone in the neighborhood in the area that was visited, and I know we visited Tomball.
Yeah, Good Shepherd.
Good Shepherd. And it was almost like homecoming when we went there. And in fact, we were about the last people to close up the church that day. And the priest there, we'd met him and everything, and we told him what we're doing. And he said, don't make a harsh decision, a rush decision. Said, you will be having someone else come in. And you wait and see how it turns out. So we did, and we're still here.
There you go. Well, you've seen lots of changes. What do you see about the future here? What excites you about what's going to go on here in the future?
I went through a period there where I thought I'd never see a new church here, that we were dormant. I no longer feel that way. I see the new church now, and I'm really looking forward to it coming.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really nice.
And definitely, with the new churches will help us grow.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, do you have anything in particular you'd like to share with us? Anything that's special or funny or unique? Or you already shared how you got here?
Yeah. I don't know. We've been involved, I guess, to some degree in various committees and things through the years. I was on the vestry for a while. That's an experience.
Good and bad?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I was on the vestry at two other churches, and when it came here, I figured I'd retire from the role. So.
It was Joan's turn.
We have another little amusing incident, I guess, is at Christmas time we had, what was it called, Joan?
Kris Kringle.
Kris Kringle program.
Oh, yes. I'd forgotten about that.
And that's where you draw names and exchange gifts with the name you drew from. And we learned this in Memphis when we were going to church there. And the idea was to take the gift to the person's house. Maybe ring the doorbell and run if you had kids, and keep it a secret until Christmas time, and then you reveal who you were. And that went on for several years, and our kids enjoyed that.
They got a real charge out of that.
They thought, it was just really neat to go to somebody's house, put a gift on the door, and ring the bell and run.
Well, and we'd park maybe a block away, where we could see the front door. And that way, when they came out and they started looking around, and then they'd suddenly, look down and see a little something sitting on the doorstep. The kids just got a real thrill out of that.
And that reminds me, too, I guess, was it still Kris Kringle where we received this gift, and you thought the tin or the box that the gift came in was so neat?
No, it was the wrapping paper, or the bag. It was the bag the gift bag that it came in. It was such a lovely bag, and I thought, this is too good not to use. So I thought, I think I'll use it for our Kris Kringle. That should be really
Well,
really
it's a
nice.
Chris Kringle gift that we had received.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So, anyway, the next week or so, we got another one, and the bag was just, really outstanding. So I thought, okay, I'm going to make use of this again. So when it came time to reveal ourselves to the Kris Kringle person, she smiled and she said, I knew who it was after the second week. She said, I got my bag back. So I made a mental note, never to do that again.
Maybe we should have started calling you the bag lady.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, it was so funny, though, because she said, I've known all along. She said, it's been really funny watching her.
My bag's come home. Okay, anything else you want to add?
Oh,
I can't think of it. Not off to the top of my head. I'm sure there's other funny stories over the years. But